I am really glad that you came to listen to me today, that you tuned in. I really appreciate having you here. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Richard's Rant with me. And good morning. As you know, the morning is the best time of the day. Before anything has gone wrong, before you have to whip out any contingencies, and I don't know, before you have to change your trajectory. And I just wish you that pure, raw energy, regardless of the time of the day that you are tuning in. Today's rant is, well, often I say that I have not gotten a lot of content from the newspaper. Today is not such a day. So much so, I am continuing the freestyle of it because when I listen to the scripted ones, I personally don't like it. So, but in doing it free, we would see if this is one rant or maybe even three. I have pages of information. And the only thing that I would say is that I am tired of the halfway reporting in the newspaper. So on some topics, I just hit Google to get some information. But still, the newspaper on its own, you give Jack it, give credit where credit is due. They get stories. Albeit a lot of it is low-lying COVID fruits, but they get stories. All right. So this is what stood out to me. I think that I would start with the businesses' reactions to COVID. Yep. I love the businesses in COVID in general. I believe I've said that before. For example, you have Ansa McCall making a whole I I don't even know what to call that. But I mean 173% profit after tax in COVID. I need and I need personally as stuttering because this represents millions of dollars, millions. And I catching my ass, and I think you catching your ass, and together we might be missing it. We just is a whole set of assness. But these asses are able to make 173% more money than they did before the pandemic. I don't know, but these are the kind of people that I think should be running the country, right? Because while even the government in that they make 100 and I think I make my point. And TTNGL, which I believe is the National Gas Company rebranded because that's all the blasted government could do, take the same shit and package it in a different, well, all right, I should have said present it in a different package. But anyway, them make money too. Oil prices going up, and the 622% profit that they made. 600 and 6. Anyway, digress, right? That point is already proven with the businesses and how well they are doing. TTNGL is because oil prices raised. That's also why it is just really not impressed. I don't even know exactly why oil prices may have raised unless maybe people were at home, and especially in the temperate countries, maybe they're using oil more because we're now coming into spring, so maybe they would have used more for their furnaces to heat their home. Most air conditioning units or cooling devices don't necessarily use oil. But who knows, maybe in the same vein, remember when it is summer in the northern hemisphere. It's winter in the south, so maybe, who knows? Yeah, maybe the trend will continue. But service stations selling solar power, so talk about that already. I'm trying not to bring up old thing. So anyway, sticking in the same vein of business innovation, we have the St. Augustine private hospital. They're doing drive-through COVID tests. Drive-through here now, man. We have a drive-through speakeasy slash hoe house, but it's not really a hoe house because they don't have hose. You have to walk with your hose, so it's like a cool off party, I guess. It's not all inclusive, but we have a drive-through speakeasy, double palm, and we have a drive-through COVID tester hospital, St. Augustine. And it's $1,400 to $1,800 for a COVID tester. Obviously, these are the I feel is the government workers whose salary runs really uninterrupted, or that middle income, or maybe those that really have a strong passive income. Uh, and investments maybe in alcohol or funeral homes, something that really wasn't that affected because that's how Anson McCall made a lot of their money. They would have purchased other businesses, so now that business profit became theirs because they had the money to purchase it. So why spend the money in developing an administrative course when I could take it and buy it and now make a profit on which is a buy, long term especially. Yeah. And then on top of that, they would have also they benefited a lot because we're drinking more. I know I am. Pretty sure you are too. So anyway, St. Augustine went and they say, come and get your drive-through COVID test. Meanwhile, a stone's throw away in the NCRHA, Mount Hope. Mount Hope is the hospital where I was born. Mount Hope is the hospital where my brother was born. Mount Hope is the hospital where a friend of mine daughter was born. Mount Hope is the hospital where a friend of mine mother works. Mount Hope is the hospital where I had my tooth extraction. But Mount Hope is also the hospital that somebody was doing a cesarean and they cut the child head almost clean off, giving them a brand new smile. Of course, the child did not survive. Mount Hope is also the hospital that had a neonatal bacteria that was killing people children. Mount Hope is also the hospital where the dental assistant looked at me and verbatim said that they're doing me a favor by working during COVID. Mount Hope is the hospital where they put a set of tents that are sure taxpayers paying a rental fee for by the day. Right? If it is the wanted tents, I'll sure nobody thought that they could just go price match and buy it. Why do that when you could rent it? Yeah? Because if you go price match and buy it, who going to set it up? Who going to put it down? We're going to have storage. We're too lazy for all of that. So I'm pretty sure it's a daily rental. And they have the people and them sitting down on the lawn like if it's a picnic. And now that the public is responding to Daddy Rowley and Daddy Didi and all of the doom and gloom and you go dead, and every Tom, Dick and Harry and Jane with a cough running in the hospital to see if the cough is COVID or they're scared and just climbing on the fact that a doctor died. Yeah, and he was a nice doctor and all of these wonderful things. Why all you didn't think about the drive-through clinic? Look at the size of Mount Hope. Look at how much road, look at how much park it have in Mount Hope. It have a whole building that's still building, under construction. It looking like the building looking like when it is Nenny used to have them plants in the gallery. It wasn't necessarily a flowering plant, but it was like a green vine. Sometimes you could have break piece and put it in an aquarium too. When Nenny had that growing up, all the bush and thing growing up on that building. That's still under construction. Yeah, all this infrastructure, all this space, and nobody. Okay, you didn't think about it. Fine, that's not no sin, but you're seeing it, do it. And it is your staff free to go to work and it is a privilege. Okay, well then let them do it from the car. But nah, because you see, all you really want to do is to go home with pay. And I know that. Because you were a hypocrite when you took the Hippocratic oath. And that Florence Nightingale oath for the is oath, yes, for the nurses, that was just a means to end for you. Blasted hypocrite. And yes, you could be sympathetic that you have your house and your children and your life and whatever have you. Well, then you know what? Do the honorable thing and take no pay leave and go home. But you don't want no pay leave because they are your bills. So what you want is for me to pay you for doing nothing. Yeah? Can't take humans. I can't take humans. I can't take humans. Meanwhile, in Jean-Pierre Complex. Jean-Pierre Complex now, down by Invaders Way. Which part Biden give you some mobile hospital units. The same NCRHA preparing for a ribbon cutting. Sarah, who the fuck had time for a mirror cut? What I had to say anything else on this. What ribbon cutting you telling me about this kiss me ass COVID time? Huh? Who paying for this? Why it is you need a ribbon cut? And all you're saying, oh God, people dying, they're dying. Well, the time when you're taking to cut a ribbon, you're supposed to be cutting somebody COVID experience down with treatment of oxygen. Which, by the way, Trini is also buying up because clearly some of us got some money. So oxygen tanks are also selling out to the point where there's an article telling people not to hoard oxygen tanks. Oxygen tanks apparently go for as little as $1,400 and as much as $3,600, depending on if you need all of the accessories and bells and whistles and the size of it, or if it is you have one, because I don't know, like a gas tank, if you have one and you just need a refill, it's a different price. Right, for those who don't know, a brand new gas tank is a couple $100, about 600 and something. And if you purchase a gas stove, you go with the receipt and you will get a complimentary tank. But the actual tank, if you do have one, last I checked, which was when I bought my first stove, that would have been almost 19 years ago, was $650. But things like this tend not to necessarily go up because it's government subsidized and whatnot, So more than likely it's around the same price. So we're sticking in the vein with business because they really did fascinate me. Not gonna lie. Apparently, because it was in multiple newspapers, and we all know that they copy off of each other. Or if you didn't know, you want to hold your head in the sand, that your ass business. All of them just copy off of each other. I wouldn't be too surprised to learn that all of the reporters has been a WhatsApp group, and one of them must just go on the story and just share it to the rest of them, and they just change up some words. And of course, they would have their reasons for doing so, like they're underpaid or they being abused in some way, or they had to do multiple jobs to make ends meet, or whatever crap humans just come up with. But apparently, various business associations, as you know, we have the bar owners of Trinidad and Tobago, that is BAT. We have Downtown Owners and Merchants Associations, that's DOMA, that's in Port of Spain. And we have American Chamber of Commerce, that's supposed to be like a overall governing body. Then you have the Supermarkets Association of Trinidad and Tobago. You have the Bankers Association, I believe, as well. But I'm sure leaving out something because it's Bankers Association. It's not Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, it's just Bankers Association, BA. And I'm sure you have a few others. There is a Chaguanas Business Association, there's a San Fernando Business Association, and I'm pretty sure that there are others, right? So apparently, the business association, they wanted the curfew because at the time of doing this recording, we are a couple days into what is the third state of emergency in my lifetime. These things supposed to be a once in a lifetime occurrence, but it's my third. For some of you, it's your second. For the ones, if it's your first, then I think you're too young to be listening to this. Yep. But they wanted it. So I was like, whoa, how come they wanted it? Well, they wanted it for all this protests about money, the state of the economy, employees, the devastation. Uh, what just make this about it? So then I said, well, maybe it's the debts and whatever have you. But all I know is that I saw 590 something people have COVID, and I can't even remember how many died, but let's just say it was 21. And I know if I get 21 answers right in a test of 596, the cutoff I would have got. However, each life is precious, each life is valuable. It's someone's son, husband, father, mother, and outside woman. These people have lives. And may they rest in peace and may they live on in the hearts and minds and soul of their loved ones and the people that cared about them, in the way that they influenced them, their stories, their memories, even the cadence in their voice or the tempo and their stride. May they live on. But in the grand scheme of things, it is 21 out of 596. Yeah? And if it is you think I being callous, let's just go across to the cut and paste articles that they do. That it is called international news and entertainment news. The Olympic Games, many sporting activities, by the way, are going on as normal. Many of you all know this with the Super League and the UEFA League and NBA and CPL and some other cricket thing was going on too, if I'm not mistaken, and track and field and boxing and horse racing, all tennis, all golf, all are going on, right? So the Olympic Games were scheduled to, and it still is at the time of this recording. It hasn't been called off. It's scheduled to begin momentarily, about 5 or 10 days from now. So momentarily, and the popular Tokyo lawyer, because it's supposed to be in Tokyo, has started an online petition to cancel the games. The government is hesitant to cancel the games, and I don't necessarily think that it is because that they so love the Olympics or that they still believe that the Olympics would necessarily have the return on the investment that they had projected. I have a feeling that it has some fine print because canceling things like the Olympics and all others have some severe consequences. And if that is the case, it then leads me to wonder, why is it that whoever owns the Olympics, that I do not know, but whoever it is, why don't they waive the penalties? Especially under these, what kind of evil people? But again, maybe it have a bigger picture, maybe it's a picture in picture, maybe it's like an inception situation or like the Russian dolls. We just not seeing the whole thing. Yep. Maybe it's like an iceberg. So they had to know what they're doing. But the reason why I brought up Tokyo is because the wording of the articles are different. And that is proof that they are just cut and paste. Not even the editor edited those articles to say anything, or maybe they can't edit it because of the copyright and all of that, but nobody in the paper highlighted it on their own, spoke about it on their own, did an expose, nothing. Yeah, because journalism is not a vocation, it's a work, like being a taxi driver. But Tokyo has 11,000 deaths, and I quote, "This is considered great by world standards." Yeah? But they want to crucify me for the 21 out of 596 because this is how the world looks at COVID now. We know what it is. We know what it is, and it's a virus. We understand that it has the potential to be lethal. We understand why. We have created vaccines. There are treatment options. The world is moving to fuck on. And instead, in Trinidad, we want to have a day of prayer on May the 23rd with all of the religious bodies. What we praying for? Common sense? Bravery? Anyway, so I guess in the upcoming newspapers we would see if they stop Tokyo Games hashtag leads results. But at the time of the article, compared to Tokyo's population, it was really small. It was really small. And the Tokyo functioning. All of the photos of their ministers and stuff, they don't even have one mask. They have the vaccines, they have the course of action. And personally, I would be really skittish because I'm a big advocate of keeping the borders closed. Having said that, I guess if it's we had CPL here and the International Artists came. Sorry, not artists, athletes. The international athletes came and they did their quarantining and all of that. So now they would have their quarantining and they would have their shots to take. And I had a fun thought because one of the little conspiracy things that I am playing with, right, is what if this vaccine is like the thing that's gonna turn people into zombies and we're gonna have the zombie apocalypse? But if all the best athletes in the world then have it, oh, that would be like an army. Oh, you can't really run from them. Tokyo will be ground zero. Or even better, all the athletes will get it and then they go in and send them back to the native countries and they will be like the leaders of the zombie army, with the athletic ability. But it's just talking foolishness. Yeah, it's not impossible, but it's just not very practical. And well, I already said that if that turned out to be true, I go eat some curry and let my brain kusume nice in it and just offer myself up. I ain't going through that. I'm not living in no post-apocalyptic world. For me to start to crave things that I can't make, simple things. When I start to crave macaroni pie, what I gonna do? Grow wheat to turn it into flour, get a cow to make the butter, to get the milk to make the butter, to go in the well, get the water, grow the yeast, cultivate it, put it in it, get some chicken red, make the egg, get some more milk to make the cheese and the cream, go and get some seawater and evaporate it just to get a little salt to put in it. What I'm going to do? Plant a mustard seed to get a mustard tree to get a little mustard to put in it too? Nah, man. And then on top of that, I had to get some wood, get a mud oven, make a cake pan out of something. All that for macaroni. And I still think that a little bit natural. What about things that we make? What happen when it is I start to crave a red solo? We're gonna get a soft drink. We're gonna get a Viva. Since I watch him wait. What foolishness. I not I ain't going through that. More power to you. I will free up the space, free up resources. You and your family and your friends, all they could live on. I ain't not in that shit at all. I will be real good. This life done hard enough for me as it is. If it is you add a whole post-apocalyptic journey onto it, that is where I tap to fuck out. So anyway, the point is, we live in a time of a pandemic when we have Trinidad under a state of emergency, Jamaica under a state of emergency. You have Suriname saying, we're not going under no state of emergency. 12,000 people have it. That's about it. We have Barbados, no state of emergency. We have the UK, people have it. People take vaccine. They are afraid that the Indian strain might come and the people wouldn't really do too good with the masala version. Right? They like the food bland. That curry might be just too spicy. They're not in that scene. But they're opening back up. And they have a whole plan with a name, it online, everything. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago newspapers only reported that they have a plan, nothing about the plan. But it's a very comprehensive plan. For me, it's like the lockdown in reverse, but it have some nuances, it have some spices in it, in the sense, but not like the masala version or the corona. Different bland spices, like salt. So what they do is they back it up with science, and they explained that you have a higher chance of contracting the virus socializing indoors as opposed to outdoors. So they are going to open back up the parks and the this and the that and the other. And they're going to open back up exercising and all these things. And they also deliberately want to do some of it during the Easter vacation so that you wouldn't have school in the mix. The children would be home and you wouldn't have that structure. You'd have that flexibility to kind of like a natural ease then on going back out, as opposed to having people go back out and having children having to be out as well. So everything makes sense. Everything make a lot of sense to me in reading it, and the people are all for it. And what it is Boris said, which is UK Prime Minister, is that people are adhering to the guidelines. And I was like, no shit, Sherlock. People would easily adhere to the guidelines now, although they had a whole sort of protest before, because you have a comprehensive plan as to what we're doing, why we're doing it, and so forth. So even if it is you disagree with XYZ, or you think COVID is the devil, or whatever they ask going on in your neck of the woods, you know that it's going to come to an end, and we all working towards a common goal. Not somebody just expressing unilateral power and decision making as though somehow you crawl back into your mother womb or nest, or you lose all your rights as an adult that you waited 20 something odd years to attain, because we all know none of us became adults at 80. That was just on paper. Some of us was big people before we was big, but all you're different. We ain't really talking about all you. You all are exceptional, and we talking about the generic right now, like myself. And our business community, apparently, so it seems, for the lockdown, and they wanted the lockdown all of a sudden. But as I said at the beginning, I got a lot of information, and I'm still going to do it free. So as I'm observing that I'm on the 28-minute mark, I am going to tell you that part 2, I will discuss why I think the business community wants it. But spoiler alert, it's not that juicy. I just don't want to do it in this one because I reached 29 minutes now in the recording. So to end this rant, we all know that cats tend to land on their feet. What you didn't know though is that they could bounce. So apparently a building was burning. I did not notice if there were casualties. If there were, my condolences. But the article was really about the cat. So the building was burning, and the cat was trapped. It was 5 stories up, and the cat look outside and say, all right, there's my 911. Sorry if that was insensitive of me. It wasn't intentional, right? But this is my 911, and the cat jumped to fuck out the building. Normal. And everybody but oh God, why? The cat land on its feet and bounce, and then run below a car and lie down and thought about what the fuck just happened. Is jump I jump? And after about 20 minutes, casually get up and went about its life. It scaled the wall back into the building. It didn't go in the building, of course, but you know that is home. So it scaled the wall and sat down in the yard. Most normal. So I guess cats really do have 9 lives. You learn something new every day. Ordinary things can surprise you, entertain you, amuse you. And in part two, I would talk about some sporting personalities and stuff that we lost, as well as some entertainment by way of our national instrument. But for now, thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Subscribe to The Vibe and comment towards our betterment. Vibes.